Greetings, Winjack family. It's Angelo Cisco. It's Wednesday. You know what time it is. It's time for us to fly. So, one of the things that I've really want to talk about today and became more aware of the longer and longer I've been coaching people is this idea of avoidance. And it really stems from this generation and this time. First and foremost, I was born in 1983, and my generation or our generation is the first generation that actually is a split generation. And what I mean by that is that no other generation in history has seen a divide in people where we actually look at our generation as two different divides. It's a statistic, and it's something where I've really brought a lot of attention to me. Where if you were from a different generation, everyone usually believes in the same value system or structure, and that's what makes a generation so solid. Like our baby boomer generation really all believed in a great America and security, right? That's what they really wanted, and we saw all of them band together to create a more secure generation and future. This is where the idea of having a pension and thinking that ways they cling to security. But in our generation, we've seen a very big culture divide, especially after college, 25 to 30. And the biggest way that we're seeing this divide is in avoidance of a lot of things. And what I've noticed where the biggest avoidance takes place is in avoidance of consequences or potential conflict of any kind. And so I wanted to really talk today about avoidance. And when we first avoid potential emotional or conflicting situations. So if someone doesn't want to stand up for themselves or avoid a possible argument or fight or anything that you may not feel comfortable in as far as argument or debate, the more that we avoid that, you are avoiding a big part of your life and you're avoiding the chance to grow. If you avoid consequences because you see them as punishments, you then are not growing because you're avoiding what you need to receive the signal that you didn't do something right. So we choose being comfortable in a lot of situations in our generation, and that's where the real divide is the ones that step into this unknown, take the consequences for what their actions gave to them. They are the people that usually are not growing, and the ones that could take the punishment or consequences and not believe it's a punishment, it's just the way it goes, are the ones that grow. And the more that we baby ourselves or our children, we're going to continually be in this world where people are not able to grow. So I have a son, he's 2 years old, and his mother and I go back and forth a little bit about this, where I personally do not mind if, what, like, let's say I'm cooking or barbecuing. I want him, if he puts his hand near the barbecue, I don't want him to burn off his hand, but I want him to get a little burn so he learns, right? And so it's a good time for you to look in and check in with your life is what are you avoiding? Because the more you're avoiding, what you're avoiding is something that you fear or a potential consequence for what you did. And without the consequence, the the learning and the furtherment or advancement you also deny. So getting hit on the head isn't a bad thing. Getting hit on the head twice for the same thing is. And so if you're avoiding getting hit over the head once because you think it's going to hurt really bad, or you're avoiding that potential talk with someone that is may lead to an argument or even someone not being in your life because of fear, you could run away from the fear or the consequences, but that doesn't go away. That will repeat itself. And life has been situated so comfortable for us that avoiding is now the new tactic in this world. And it's really not serving anyone to be a better version of themselves. You're just holding yourself back and you may not even know it. And another great analogy that I like to give is there's the ocean right next to me. And I could drive let's say the ocean represents a consequence or punishment or fear. I could drive all the way to back to Chicago, but the Pacific Ocean is still going to be there. And even though I can't see it, it's still there. It's waiting for me, just like whatever you're avoiding, to step into, and that will be the thing. So, what have you avoided so much in your life that you probably don't see it anymore? But deep down, it's always going to be there. And so this week, Winjet community, in every situation possible with yourself, what have you been avoiding? Going to the gym, that meditation session? What have you been avoiding doing? Going to do that new thing that you should be doing, avoiding in having a real talk or conversation with anyone? What have you been passive about? What have you been putting off, right? And not really leaning into. And there's so many ways this comes up. Yesterday, I had a conversation with an entrepreneur that I work with, and they are hiding, avoiding to me is a text message when it should be a phone call or going to see someone in person. Sending an email when you want to make a point instead of just going to see that person or get on the phone and really doing it. Because the longer you're in this purgatory, the longer you're not going to go to heaven. And you may need to go to hell first to get to heaven, but God damn it, who cares if you have to pay a toll or two? Get in the habit of not avoiding the consequence, fear, or anything like that, conflict situations, and get better at facing your fears. Get better at having better communication skills so that you cannot bring emotions to conversations or be able to handle or even help someone down regulate in their potential fear so that you could have these talks. If you're avoiding an effect or consequence for your lack of showing up, lack of discipline, all that stuff, getting hit over the head or punched in the face is sometimes what we all need to happen in our lives so that we could become better and learn something. When I was 18 years old, I used to talk a lot of shit. And one day, I talked shit to a 30-year-old man who was a monster, big, tough guy, one of the toughest guys in my neighborhood. I was 18, just running my mouth. The next thing I knew, I had a bloody mouth and I woke up from being knocked out. My face was bleeding everywhere. This guy just dropped me with one punch, bam. And I would have probably I take out the probably, I would have continually went out in this world believing it was okay to run my mouth and disrespect people until that gentleman hit me in the face. And so What are you stopping from hitting you in the face so that you could learn and grow and be a better person, to be a better father, mother? What are you doing, son? Whatever role you take in relationships, husband, wife, you name it. What are you avoiding there? What about in your career? You want a promotion? Don't ask your boss through an email. Go knock on his door and say, I want a promotion. Tell me exactly what I need to do to get one. And then go do it. Right? So this week is all about non avoiding and leaning in. Lean in and take whatever this world's going to give you, because you get in life exactly what you deserve if you allow life to play itself out. Yet if you keep avoiding, you will be plateauing your growth and stunting progress. It's just a fact. So train this muscle every time you possibly can. And I really believe that deep down, there's something in our stomach. It's called fear. It's called fear that happens in all these situations. So develop a good relationship with that little gut instinct, and you have to train it to lean in. I really do not believe that the sympathetic nervous system, most people are naturally fighters. I believe we're all flighters. No matter where you are on the hierarchy, we all start out as flighters or freezers. Leaning in and becoming a fighter is a choice, and it needs to be trained. Now, for some of us, like myself, my environment growing up did not allow me, because of my father, mentors, and other people, like I said earlier, where consequences and even running away was not an option. You had to lean in and take the beatings, and do not be upset that you took the beating. Be more upset that you ran the fuck away. To me, that's much worse than any beating life could give you, because when we run away, life's going to keep kicking you. Life's going to keep beating you. Not because life's a bully, because life is just life. Nature is just nature. You guys get it? If a bully sees someone that's weak and they don't stand up for themselves, the bully is going to keep kicking you. And that's real life and also a metaphor. But the day you stand up to the bully, show the bully you're not scared, and you'll take whatever the bully will give you and keep moving at him, then life starts giving you what you want too. And so for this week, take awareness to everything that you're avoiding and become an unavoiding leaning in mechanism. And this muscle may be weak for you, especially if you didn't have it growing up. And it's extra difficult to do if you're an adult. I do understand. Yet the more you could do it, the more you could position yourself to train a muscle of leaning in. My father used to tell me, when you're nervous, do it anyway. When you're nervous, do it anyway. And he would say to me, when you're nervous, and then I used to have to say back, do it anyway. When you're nervous, do it anyway. Okay? So every time you feel fear, nervous, worry, do it anyway. That's the victory. It doesn't matter the outcome. The victory is that you did it anyway. You went despite the fear, because that's who gets the treasure at the end of this game, is whoever could just keep leaning in, because we all have fear, nervousness, worry. It's our response to it. And then you make that your reactive response, where it's all you know to do, and then life becomes really great. So whatever's reactive is the habit. Responding is a conscious choice. So this is going to have to be conscious for a while, and then eventually it will become how you react to these situations. Now, the faster, one, become aware of this and where you do it in your life, because we all do it. I have things that I avoid in my life included. Yet once I could become aware, then I could train my response. And then once my response becomes so ingrained in me, it's how I react to situations. Now, when you get to react, it's the habit, it's the subconscious, it's what you do, it's who you are, it's ingrained in you. You no longer have to think about it so much. And then when you could become that type of person, you will not slow down in your life as long as you think it's seconds. You will begin to enjoy it. It'll be a part of who you are. And then watch what happens to you in 90 days, 6 months, 1 year, 10 years. You will be farther along than you ever could imagine. Keep avoiding. I know where you're going to be in 10 years, right where you are in this moment. Same place, same problems, same bullshit, same story. Lean in and you'll get all the goddamn glory. Have an unbelievable week, Winject community. Lean in with all your might in every area that you possibly can. This isn't easy. It's worth it. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Cast is brought to you by Winject Studios. We are an all-in-one educational platform for podcasters that revolutionizes how hosts leverage content to increase engagement with listeners, downloads, and income. We come together to focus on community, collaboration, and collective impact. For more information on how you can interact directly with our hosts, access exclusive live content with offers you can't get anywhere else from our official partners, join our purpose-driven community by visiting www.winject.com. If you're ready to build a career doing what you love, then we're ready to see you there.